Ironically enough, sometimes I just do things to screw up the whole lineup in the system. This is a 1 minute, no rebuttal, be nice question. Because it's from a young voter. Yeah, I try and be nice too, it's a struggle. What will your party do to assure that York-Simcoe's large First Nations population are consulted in regards to projects such as the Upper York Sewage Plant and the 404 link? That's not you. Dave, you're up first. 1 minute.
I'm really glad I got that question because personally, I've been engaged in the issue around the Upper York sewage solution for a number of years since we first heard of it. And they didn't allow for hearings in Georgina, let alone hearings with the First Nations. We were able to get engaged with some of the First Nations principal people on the Chippewas of Georgina Island First Nation, and they are now one of the leading opponents of this project because they have not been thoroughly consulted. This government did not properly consult with the First Nations before trying to impose the dumping of 40 million litres a day of treated sewage into Lake Simcoe. 40 million litres containing phosphorus and pharmaceuticals and personal care products. So we have a comprehensive plan, the NDP, for writing relationships with our First Nations. We seek to pursue those. Foremost among that is the consultation, the respect for it going on. I called up Donna Big Canoe on the island the other day to ask for permission. May I come over and speak to people?
Thank you.
I think that there's a lot of fear-mongering down there, that Upper York sewage solution has not reached final approval. They are still consulting, and one of the groups they need to consult with is the First Nations. I believe it should have been done sooner, but it will be done, and it must be done. As chair of the York Region School Board, I brought in the land acknowledgement for our First Nations because I think we all need to understand the land that we are on and who our treaties are with, and have more respect for our First Nations. I would not be in favor of an Upper York sewage solution that was not in consultation with the Chippewas of Georgina Island. And I think that is just so important. I think we need to be careful with the fear-mongering and trying to get political points by misstating the facts. Thank you.
Well, I think that Lake Simcoe is probably the greatest asset that we have in York-Simcoe, and ensuring its protection above all is something that matters to everyone, and in particular it does to the Chippewas of Georgina Island, who look 7 generations ahead. And so that applies to Lake Simcoe, and it applies to the issues involved with the connecting link. In the case of the Upper York sewage system, Donna Big Canoe has asked for a couple of other additional environmental assessments. And unfortunately, the funding has not come through for that. And so while nobody wants to see a project of this magnitude, of this importance to the area, delayed, and of this cost delayed, we have to make sure that we do this right, and that we protect Lake Simcoe, that we do everything we can to do that, as well as with respect to the connecting link.
Thank you.
I realize how important Lake Simcoe is for the Chippewas region, for the Georgina Island region. So I would make sure that all the parties involved are consulted and make sure that everybody understands exactly what is involved. I'm a software engineer by definition, so I'm speaking on facts only, that's it. For me, what's on the paper, that's what it counts. I don't care about anything else, I don't care about ideology or anything else. So first of all, to be able to accommodate everybody, I'll get all the parties involved talking, and then hopefully they will find a solution amongst themselves. You will not need an external factor to push them one way or the other, I'm sure of it.
Thank you for that. That was very cooperative question. Next coming up is healthcare. Oh, I'm sorry, David, I didn't mean to miss you.
It happens all the time. I met with Bill McHugh, who was on the band of the Chippewas about 6 weeks ago, and I can tell you that they were very, very concerned. Bill's also a member of the golf club where I play golf, and so I also play golf with him actually many times a year. but they're very concerned with the 40 million liters of water that's going every day into Lake Simcoe and the phosphorus content that will harm the cold deep water fish, which they use and rely upon. So I think we have to look at both that and the issues that we have with protecting the provincially significant wetlands along the shoreline and ensure that those aren't putting phosphorus into the lake as well. Thank you.
Thank you.